Hi, welcome to my tutorial. Somebody asked me recently about making scalloped edges, and there's so many different ways to make scalloped edges. I thought this was the best way to show you. I'm going to start off with a piece of scratch paper, which I have. Now, of course, you know we've already got the scalloped oval and we've got the scalloped circle, and those are two really easy ways if you want to make scallops like that. We also have the scallop square in our catalogue as well, which is this one here. But there are some other ways as well. If we want to do a straight scalloped edge, of course we've got the scalloped edge punch. If that's a little bit too big for you, you can also use the corner rounder. This is a Stampin' Up! Corner rounder, and you just pop the guard off. Okay, it comes off in two pieces, and you can use this upside down, and you just put it in. I like to start in the middle of the cardstock because then you know you're going to get some full scallops. And you just take your scallop, you make your scallop all the way along the edge with your corner rounder, making sure that when you put your corner rounder on, you can see the corner of the last scallop, so that you know that you're going to join it up and that you're not going to end up with, if I do it, with a piece like that in the middle. If you do end up with a bit that sticks out like that in the middle, you can just snip that off with your scissors and just tidy it up. Okay, so there's one way of making your a straight scalloped edge. Of course, you can also use the scalloped edge punch as well. You can just line up your cardstock and you get a nice clean scallop along the edge of your cardstock. Now, those are your straight scallop methods. You could also use, if you wanted to use the edge of your square scallop punch, you could invert your scallops so that they're going the other way. They would look a little bit like waves. Of course, you need to be able to turn your punch upside down for this, and that will give you scallops going in the opposite direction. Now, I'm going to quickly show you a few different ways to make your scallops go round in a circle. First of all, we need a circle piece of cardstock to work with. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look. We're going to have a quick look at how to do scallops going around edges. Now, obviously, these shapes are quite a bit larger than our punches, so we're not going to be able to use those. But I've got my circles, and I'm going to start off with the corner rounder again, and I'm going to show you on the circle. Now, it's not really going to make much of a difference where I start on my circle, and of course you could use this on any size cardstock. It does take a little bit of time, so it's not as quick as maybe having a punch that already does it, but it's more versatile, and you can use it on any size. So you just take your corner rounder all the way around the edge, just as you did on a straight piece of cardstock, and you can scallop all the way around the edges of your circle. Okay, so that's one way, and you can also do it with the scallop edge punch. Now, when you're using the scallop edge punch, you're going to be scalloping about two at a time, and you're going to make sure that you're not cutting one of the previous scallops that you've already made. I'm working with the centre scallops, and I'm just lining it up, and I'm going to go all the way around my oval, just doing that, just picking up a couple of the scallops. I recently did a card like this with a heart shape, and I use the scallop edge punch. I like doing it with the scallop edge punch because you're making 2 scallops at a time rather than, or 1.5 sometimes, depends on the size of your shape, rather than just doing 1 scallop. And it gives you a slightly different size scallop to the corner rounder, because the corner rounder gives you quite a large scalloped edge, and the scallop edge punch gives you a slightly smaller scallop. Okay, so there I've just run my scalloped edge punch all the way around the edge of my oval. Okay, so those are 2 more ways to do it. There's also, this is my straight scalloped edge, and I'm just going to snip a little bit of the excess off. And if you snip in between the scallops, just up to the centre of the scallop bit, to where each of the scallops joins, you're not going all the way through the cardstock, you're just making a little bit of an edge, and you can manipulate your scallops to fit the back of whichever shape you want to use. Okay, this is another way to make your scalloped edges. Okay, I've got a piece of scrap cardstock here. I'm going to use my 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to pop out a circle. Oops. I'm then going to use my scallop circle punch, and I'm going to line that up in the middle. And similarly to the way we did this one when we snipped it, I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to open up the scallop circle and just snip up to the edges. Okay, and then you can straighten them out or you can bend them flat, whichever you want to do. You could curve it, you could make a wave pattern from it, but you just got another way to make your scalloped edges. Okay, so that's 4 or 5 different ways to make your scalloped edges. There's quite a few different ways there to do it on your different circles. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope you'll enjoy making scalloped edges from now on. And thank you for joining me.